What does it take to become one of the greatest actors in Hollywood history? Talent, hard work, or the courage to take risks that others are too afraid to take? For Leonardo DiCaprio, it was all of these things combined. From a child growing up in a rough neighborhood in Los Angeles to becoming the face of one of the biggest movies ever made, Leonardo DiCaprio's journey is not just the story of a movie star. It is the story of an actor who refused to follow the rules and instead created his own path. Today, he is known for legendary films like Titanic, Inception, and The Wolf of Wall Street. But his journey to the top was not easy. This is the incredible life story of Leonardo DiCaprio. Early life. Leonardo Wilhelm DiCaprio was born on November 11, 1974, in Los Angeles, California. His parents separated when he was still very young, and he was mostly raised by his mother, Ermeline DiCaprio. Money was often tight, and Leonardo grew up in a neighborhood that was not always safe. But even as a child, he had a huge imagination. He loved watching movies, he loved performing, and he loved making people laugh. Leonardo once said that acting felt natural to him from the very beginning. But becoming an actor in Hollywood is never easy. In fact, many casting directors initially rejected him. They told him his name sounded too ethnic and suggested he change it. But Leonardo refused. He believed his name was part of his identity, and that decision showed something important about him even at a young age. He was determined to stay true to himself. First steps in acting. Leonardo began his career by appearing in television commercials. He also had small roles in TV shows during the late 1980s and early 1990s. One of his early appearances was in the sitcom Growing Pains. While these roles were small, they gave him valuable experience in front of the camera. But Leonardo wanted more. He didn't just want to be a TV actor. He wanted to prove himself in serious films. That opportunity finally came in the early 1990s, and it would change everything. The breakthrough. In 1993, Leonardo DiCaprio starred in the film What's Eating Gilbert Grape? In the movie, he played Arnie, a young boy with a mental disability. His performance was emotional, powerful, and incredibly realistic. Critics were shocked by how good he was. He was only 19 years old. Yet his performance earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. This was a huge moment. Hollywood suddenly realized that Leonardo DiCaprio was not just another young actor. He was something special. But his biggest success was still waiting just a few years ahead. Titanic and global fame. In 1997, Leonardo starred in the film that would change his life forever, Titanic, directed by James Cameron. In the movie, Leonardo played Jack Dawson, a poor artist who falls in love with a rich young woman named Rose, played by Kate Winslet. The love story between Jack and Rose captured the hearts of millions. The film became a worldwide phenomenon. At the time, Titanic became the highest-grossing movie ever made. Leonardo DiCaprio became one of the most famous actors on the planet almost overnight. Fans everywhere were obsessed with him. His face was on magazine covers, posters, television, everywhere. But fame at that level can be dangerous for an actor. Many young stars become trapped by their early success. Leonardo did something different. Instead of choosing easy roles, began choosing challenging ones, choosing serious roles. After Titanic, Leonardo could have spent years doing romantic movies, but he wanted to be respected as a serious actor. So he began working with some of the greatest directors in the world, including Martin Scorsese. Their collaboration began with the movie Gangs of New York in 2002, and it would become one of the most successful actor-director partnerships in modern cinema. Together, they made several powerful films: The Aviator, The Departed, Shutter Island, The Wolf of Wall Street. Each movie showed a different side of Leonardo's talent. He could play heroes, villains, complex characters, and deeply emotional roles. Critics began calling him one of the best actors of his generation, but one thing still remained missing: an Oscar win. The long wait for an Oscar. For many years, Leonardo DiCaprio was nominated for the Academy Award multiple times, but he never won. Fans around the world began joking that the Oscars were cursed for him. Every year, people ask the same question: why hasn't Leonardo DiCaprio won an Oscar yet? But Leonardo never complained. Instead, he kept working harder. Then, in 2015, he starred in the survival drama The Revenant, directed by Alejandro González Iñárritu. The role was extremely demanding. Leonardo filmed in freezing temperatures. He crawled through snow, he ate raw meat, and performed physically exhausting scenes. His dedication was incredible. Finally, in 2016, Leonardo DiCaprio won the Academy Award for Best Actor. When his name was announced, the audience gave him a standing ovation. It was a moment fans had waited decades to see. Environmental activism. Leonardo DiCaprio is not only an actor, he is also one of the most active environmental advocates in Hollywood. In 1998, he created the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation. The foundation focuses on protecting wildlife, forests, and oceans. Leonardo has also produced documentaries about climate change. He often uses his fame to raise awareness about environmental issues. In fact, during his Oscar speech, he spoke about the importance of protecting the planet. For him, acting is important, but protecting the Earth is even more important. Recent films and career today. Even after decades in Hollywood, Leonardo DiCaprio continues to choose interesting and powerful roles. Some of his recent films include Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, directed by Quentin Tarantino, Don't Look Up, Killers of the Flower Moon. These films show that Leonardo is still passionate about storytelling. He is not interested in simply making money. He wants to make films that matter, and that is why directors and audiences continue to respect him. Legacy. Today, Leonardo DiCaprio is considered one of the greatest actors of his generation. His career spans more than 30 years. He has played dozens of unforgettable characters, and he has worked with some of the greatest filmmakers in history. But perhaps the most impressive thing about Leonardo is his dedication. He never became comfortable. He never stopped improving, and he never stopped challenging himself. That is what separates great actors from legendary ones. Ending from a young boy in Los Angeles to one of the most respected actors in the world, Leonardo DiCaprio's journey proves something powerful. Success does not come from fame alone. It comes from passion, courage, and the willingness to take risks. And that is why Leonardo DiCaprio will always remain one of Hollywood's true legends.